Hi again, moms and dads. I'm here with another parental alienation survival coach tip of the day. Today we're going to talk about how important it is for you to understand what parental alienation really is. It's important that you study because it's important that your team understands it, your legal team. This message, this tip today is for people who are still in court and still fighting a custody battle. Sadly, we all know of cases where people have lost everything in these battles. And indeed, that is part of the alienator's mission, is to destroy you financially, legally, parentally, and every other way they can, so that they end up looking like a wonderful person by comparison. It's all part of the psychopathology. It's a sickness. And these poor people, our exes, have severe problems with low self-esteem, and the only way they can boost it is by making themselves look better by comparison. And so destroying you is part of it. The other big thing they have is a real fear of abandonment, that they will be left without love, without people who love them, and that includes, of course, exes, and it also includes the children that you're fighting so hard for. They feel that those children will reject them and hate them, and so their only way to fix that or regulate that fear is to make them hate you instead, and that guarantees that they will be loved, that the ex will be loved by the children. So it's very, very messy, very confusing. The important thing that you understand is that it's very real. Lots of leading psychologists, as most of you know, have heard the names of Baker and Gottlieb and Bone and Warshak and Childress. And of course it started with Gardner, but Gardner coined the phrase parent alienation in the 80s, and throughout the 90s it became a real controversial subject into the new century as well. People started to doubt that it was real. It wasn't in the DSM, which is the psychology manual. He and others attempted to get it put in there, and it was rejected several times, leading to a argument that it doesn't really exist. So the newer experts in the field use established and accepted psychological constructs, and basically it's a form of pathological parenting, meaning sick parenting. And that's important that you understand that. That's what's causing your child to reject and hate you. If your child is at that point and you're still fighting for custody, it's important that everyone on your case knows that that's not normal. It's not normal for a child to hate their parents. That just doesn't happen. Psychologists will tell you there are only extreme, rare cases, and that would be things like severe abuse, incest, physical abuse, physical neglect, like people who are on drugs and addicted to substances and completely neglect their children. In a normal range of affection available to the child, and a parent that wants to be in their life who has none of those issues that I just mentioned, there's no reason for a child to hate them unless they're being induced by someone else. That's just a matter of fact, and all of the experts will tell you that. It's important you know that, and it's really important that your team know that. If you're working with a lawyer or psychologists or court-ordered, psychological evaluations that don't get that, that don't know that haven't been taught that, haven't been trained in that, then you're probably not going to get very far. They can be really great in their field, but if they don't know these things, you're probably not going to get very far. So today's tip, that all of that leads up to today's tip. Today's tip is that there are resources available. I have two from Dr. Childress right here. This one is for your legal team. It's less than $10. It's a little booklet. It's only like 35 pages that you can give to your legal team and make sure that they've read it and that they understand what's going on. And this one is for a psychotherapist, whether you're seeking help for yourself, which I do recommend. I'm just a coach, I'm not a psychotherapist. If you're going to a psychotherapist, they need to understand this. And if you have a psychotherapist preparing evaluations of your child or yourself for the legal presentation, they need to understand it as well. These two are from Childress. Dr. Bone has things like this as well. I'm not sure if the others have prepared these things in booklet form, but you can get a lot of advice, free advice, from the websites of some of those experts that I mentioned: Amy Baker, Linda Gottlieb, Warshak, Bone, Childress is this one. So many who have really dedicated their careers to our cause. So that's the Parental Alienation Survival Coach tip of the day, is to arm yourself and arm your legal team with these important educational materials. That's what we're all trying to do in this movement, is educate people, make them aware, especially if it applies to your case. It's not just a matter of, oh, well, the wife said this and the husband said this and the ex-wife said this and the ex-husband said that. It's not like that. I know that in many cases that they try to diminish it and say, well, that's just your side of the story. There's two sides to every story. Well, this is not a case where there's two sides to every story. This is a case where your children need to be rescued and protected and removed from the influence of somebody who is causing them severe psychological harm. That's what these books will help you and your team to understand. It's so crucial that you understand it, and that the team can help us. The team can help you to help yourself, and that the court can maybe one day be part of the solution instead of just part of the problem. So arm yourself, educate others. That's my tip of the day for all you struggling moms and dads. Hang in there. Stay strong.